Sorry.
Good morning, everybody,
Good morning.
and welcome to the last day of the 2021 summer study. It's great to see you all this morning. Hope everybody had a good time at the party or whatever else they were doing last night. And I'll just hand straight over to Nils to tell us a little bit about what's going on today.
Great. Thank you, Joanne. Today we have two panel leaders. We have Kurt Emil from Velux, who is panel leader of Panel 8 on Building Systems and Technologies, and we have Eva Geilinger from the Swiss Federal Office of Energy, who is one of the co-panel leaders of Panel 9 on Appliance and Product Policy. I will fill in a little extra for the other panels if we miss something, but it's great to have you here. So first, little bit about the big talk today, and I've seen on Twitter a lot already about our announcement to go sort of real for 2022 again, and I'm happy to see that so many have reacted positively and felt, you know, it's yes, finally again. So, you know, we trust actually science and vaccines and so on. So in a year we should be okay. So let's fingers crossed. One thing to add to everybody is we are actually reintroducing a panel on industrial efficiency next year because we think that's part of our kind of cross-cutting section. So that will be good. There will not be a traditional eceee summer study on energy efficiency next year because we can't cope with two big events, but we may have other kind of seminars in industrial efficiency instead. Anyway, glad to hear this. Also want to add, to remind everyone, we do have a final roundup session this afternoon that we introduced this morning or yesterday because there was a lot of people who asked for it. So some of the panel leaders will be there to sum up highlights during the week. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I'll hand over to you, Kurt Emil. What can we expect from your panel today? And maybe you want to add something on what you think were good things during the week as well. So feel free to do that.
Thank you very much, Nils. Our panel today, panel 8, will focus on smart buildings. We will have some presentations on how we can optimize the buildings or the use of the buildings by following the users of the building. So there will be a very interesting presentation on analysis on user engagement. I'm looking very much forward to that one, I would say. Then we have a few others on home IT as well, and the link between the energy use in buildings and the district heating or the energy system, I should say. And that also looks very good. So should anyone like to learn more about smart buildings and how we integrate them with the user, because that's very important, but also integrate them with the energy systems, they should join our session at 10:30. So, but if I look back on the week which we have had, I should start saying I'm very disappointed that we have not made it in person, and therefore I have moved outside because I wanted to have a little bit of the eceee summer study feelings, and I really hope that we will meet in the future again. But if I look back at the week, I think it has been a tremendously good week. I think it has been organized extremely well. And I think that
Thank you.
the structure that we can jump in and out from different sessions, and we can be all over the globe, is extremely good. So even though that we do not meet each other, I think we have had some options to listen to a lot of presentations, which we would not have had the option to if we were together. But I would have preferred to be together. I think that was my introduction or my comments for the week.
Thank you, Kurt Emil. That's great to hear. And yeah, I can see you sitting outside. I also hear the birds. So wow, that's nice. So I'll move over to Eva. I guess you're not sitting where
I am not in the mountains, no. But this is just a picture for motivation for the work I think that we are doing, because maybe we get to keep a few of the glaciers in Switzerland if we're successful. Yeah, so we have for the panel 9 one session today. I think we kept some really good presentations for this last session. It's called Product Regulation, Becoming Digital, Environmental and System Oriented. And these presentations will give us an outlook on what product policy will look like or could look like in the future and how it can become even stronger than it already is. So we'll have Thomas Addison show us what a digital product passport could look like. And Hans-Paul Siderius will explain an approach to transform product policy into system policy, allowing to tackle much bigger potentials. And Michael Scholland will share his plan with us to phase out fluorescent lighting all over the world via environmental regulation restricting mercury. And then as a strong finish, Nashua Susali will discuss network connected household appliances and their energy consumption in the operation and also in the data centers for the connectivity. So that's our program. And I know that Thomas Goetz will then give a look back in the closing session. So I'll leave that to him for later.
Great. That's wonderful. So yeah, I'm looking forward. There's a lot of sessions. Unfortunately, there's always, we have competing sessions, but the good thing this year is, of course, that all will be recorded, so you can go back, because there are really few papers I am interested in that I couldn't look at, and I can now, luckily, can go back and take a look at them when we're done next week. There are a few things that I really got interested in. And one I listened to, and I thought it was really interesting. I really didn't understand. Also, I have to go back and listen again. Also, that's another advantage to try to dive into it. Okay, I will say a little about what's happening today. I mean, we have a shorter program since we are only have 2 slots of parallel sessions. In panel 3, the policy session, we have an interesting, they have an intriguing topic of their session. It's called Who is to Pay? And that's an interesting thing. They will look into various kind of ways on financing, but also on you know, who is paying for what. There's like key performance indices by Diana Wang. There is another, which I think a very interesting, very timely presentation on the EU taxonomy, the green taxonomy by Bettina Dorndorf. There are also market growth models for energy efficiency financing, and there are also criteria for climate compatible building finance. So very strong focus on, you know, how to pay for it and who to pay for it, and financing. So that's really good, I think. Panel 5, the local energy system and communities, they are also having an interesting session. They are having on roles and motivations for stakeholders. Yes, sorry, the session title is, wait, what was it? This today is, well, that doesn't really matter, but it's on the roles and motivations for stakeholders in decentralized energy and electricity system. It's also a capability approach for smart local energy systems. This is actually a very important issue, I think, growing around the world, and you know, with more electrification, how do you make it? The role of demand response in India's energy future. I think it's interesting to see demand response papers from developing countries or economies in transition, not only from Europe and US and Australia and so on. Also about how to use land use and land cover charges, and also how land surface temperature is affected by that in lecture. So interesting indeed. We have in panel 8, we've covered in panel 6 The sufficiency and other strategies for reducing transport emissions. That's another interesting topic because sufficiency is a key element of our conference nowadays, of all our conferences, I would say, and they will look, it's various aspects of sufficiency, and of course it's broadly interpreted, but it's fuel suppliers under the energy efficiency obligation schemes. And is it enough to really get energy savings in transportation? It's an overview actually looking into sufficiency in transport policy and analysis of EU countries' national plans. That's going to be interesting to see if it has creeped into policy making. We have a title called "What Beyond Technical Urbanisms," and that looks into how kind of the Corona cycle waste. So it's early already, and already results coming from the Corona. And then we have an interesting one also by Jivon Vimus on car ride or beef sandwich, and how do we track the various daily behaviors we are engaging in, and what does it mean for carbon impact. Then we have in panel 7, the other of our building panels. We are having that's the final one we will mention today, because we had 8 and 9 mentioned already, and that's a panel on the buildings panel on building policy, and that one is simply called policy today, and quite strict and direct on policies for that. And one is on from Pippa Palmer on enabling local rapid change solutions to the climate emergency. We have another one on tackling fuel poverty, focusing on Portugal, and we have by Robles, and we have an owner-occupier engagement, how to get people involved in policies, gaps, and analysis. How do we really make them? So it's kind of mirrors the one that Kurt Emil was mentioning about user engagement, but it's a little bit more focus on policies for that, I would say. So, and that's by John Rowlett. So interesting day today is well ahead of us. Again, don't forget the sum up session, the summary at 2:15. Okay, I think that's it for today. I have nothing more to add. Joanne, do you have anything on tweeting or?
I just wanted to say 2 things. The first thing is, if you missed the awards announcements last night, I will put those in graffiti this morning. So well done to the awards winners. A drink for you next time we meet in person. And the other thing is, I will be asking you in the polls as you enter the sessions this morning to tell us what actually really worked for you in this online version of the world. Kurt Emil and Nils have already said some of the benefits, but we'd love to hear from you. What was it about this version of the summer study that actually you really liked? So that's it from me. Thanks, Nils.
Okay, thank you. So we'll convene in 15 minutes, 16 minutes. So waiting for you there, and have a really good and great last day of the event. And thank you, Kurt Emil and Eva, for joining us. Bye.